All right, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, this is Barnon11970, and as always, I thank you for watching my videos, and hopefully you are having a great day. All right, guys, the other day I made a video of what you would choose. If, for example, you had a grandmother or great-grandfather, depending on how old you are, that was living around the early 1930s, left 10,000 of three different choices in a mattress that you discovered on a regular normal day today. What would you choose? The three choices were $10,000 in fiat money, which wouldn't be fiat at the time. It was backed by gold, but that's no longer the case, so that's basically irrelevant. It would still be today considered fiat currency. You had a choice of 10,000 in gold and 10,000 in silver. Now, one or two people thought it would be funny to say the fiat paper, which means they got at maximum $10,000, which really doesn't buy you much these days, especially when you think of the cost index of everything nowadays, how things are so much more expensive. You've actually lost money because what $10,000 would have bought you in the 1930s will definitely not buy you in the 2000s. So, the other options. Now, a lot of people picked gold, which you can't go wrong with, but I'm going to show you why silver is still the best choice because we broke it down to the physical numbers. Now, I was talking about the grandparents or great-grandparents or whatever, it doesn't really matter, leaving it in the mattress roughly around the early 1930s. So, let's start with gold. The average price of gold in the early 1930s averaged out to roughly about $23 an ounce, which means if you divide that by 10,000, you would come out to 434.78 ounces. So we'll round it off to 435 ounces. Now, if you times that by the exact current price that you see right now, which is approximately $1,580, you would have, in today's value, $687,300 worth of gold. A lot better than 10,000 from fiat money. So we see right there that gold actually has more value than paper. Because look at the difference. You went from 10,000 fiat paper to $687,300 worth of gold. Now let's get into silver. I actually thought silver around the 1930s was about $1, $1.50 an ounce. I actually looked it up and found out it was actually even cheaper. The average price of silver in the early 1930s averaged out to about 38 cents an ounce. Now get this. If you times that or divided that by 10,000, because you had the original $10,000 worth that they purchased, you would come up with 26,315.78 ounces of silver. So we round it to 26,316 ounces. Times that by the current price of the dip that you see today, which is about $28.70 an ounce. The current value of your silver today would be $755,126. A lot more than what you are seeing with the fiat currency, and even more than gold. So this should tell you that silver is the absolute best investment if you get it at the right price. Now, obviously, we have a dip right now, so most people are concerned about losing their value. Well, if you had these coins way beforehand, because I already had people tell me they went through a grandparent's closet or an attic or something and found a whole bunch of silver quarters. They're worth a lot more because of the silver in them than the actual denomination printed on the coin. It's the same thing with fiat currency. The paper currency, even when it was backed by gold or silver back then, is no longer valid, so it's not going to have any more intrinsical value. As a matter of fact, and here's another thing you might consider when it comes to paper currency, paper does not last forever. So just imagine if your grandparents or great-grandparents put $10,000 worth of paper money in a mattress, and it's been in there, possibly used, for over 80 years. It might crumble into dust by the time you find it. So that might be another thing to consider. So for longevity, we have, for example, gold and silver coins that they found all the way back to the Roman Empire. Just imagine if the Roman Empire used fiat currency as far as paper is concerned. You think you'd see any of that anymore? So that might be another factor to consider. So any of the smart people out there, if they had the three choices, none of them would have picked paper. If you picked gold, you did pick well, but the ultimate profit margin belonged to silver. So, like I said, guys, if you want to think cash is king in a place where they have to print billions of it every month just to keep it alive, well, hey, you know what? You go with that, and you tell me in 5 years how that's working for you. I would rather take, while that paper garbage has intrinsic value, even though it's losing it on almost on a daily basis, I would rather turn that into physical metals to protect myself for the future. So numbers don't lie. So people can make up whatever stories they want. They could use all the emotion they want, but numbers don't lie. So if you chose the fiat currency, well, guess what? You got $10,000 at best if it is still usable. But what is $10,000 buying you these days? Is it buying you a house? Is it buying you a car? Is $10,000 even buying you a motorcycle? Personally, I would have chosen either the gold or silver, and if you chose the silver, you probably wouldn't have to work ever again. How fast are you going to go through $10,000? All right, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.